I'm very pleased to be talking today to Haruna Iddrisu, Minister of Telecommunications for Ghana. You're currently Vice Chairman of the ITU Council, which means, by custom and practice, you will become Chair in October. What would you like to see on the agenda of the ITU Council?
We cherish the opportunity and privilege to chair the important International Telecoms Union Council as a country. Ghana remains committed to the ideals and values of the ITU. Our major task is how to bridge the digital divide. We are excited that the World Telecom Policy Forum in Portugal is setting the tone and the agenda on how to strengthen regulation, issues of convergence, and matters relating to the internet generally, and how developing countries in particular can build their capacity and attract the needed investment in order to improve upon their standing in that area.
Tell me, what is the situation on the ground in Ghana? Do you have a monopolized telecom sector, or is it liberalized? What is the situation there, and what sort of penetration do you have?
In Ghana, we liberalized the telecom sector a decade ago in 1997. We currently have 6 major mobile telephone operators in Ghana, all of it private sector led. 1 or 2 of them also provide fixed telephone services. We currently have a tele-density of 52%, 10 million subscribers in Ghana, with the MTN being a dominant player. We have a very effective regulatory authority in the National Communications Authority, which is in the process of some procurement of acquiring monitoring equipment in order to ensure that quality of standards are not compromised and that consumers get value for money.
What are the main issues in Africa for telecommunications? You've got a vast continent, which I imagine is very difficult to reach, to roll out telecommunications everywhere and to everyone. How are telecommunications helping Africa to develop more?
I think the biggest challenge in Africa is rolling out modern infrastructure. We do not have the needed investment. For instance, we need to extend broadband services to our people, make bandwidth affordable and accessible to many of our people, and that remains a challenge. Now, in the wake of the global economic crisis or credit crunch, the key to reducing the cost of doing business is ICT. Africa is not developed in terms of its infrastructure. Quality of service is still not the best in many areas in Africa. Even access to telephony, you're talking about 250 million people having access to mobile telephony in Africa. The regulators in some countries are not effective, largely because of needless, sometimes political interference, and the regulator is lacking capacity to do that which is right. And in terms of the digital divide, Africa is far behind the rest of Europe and probably North America, and we need to work in order to be able to achieve holistic development and access to ICT in the world.
How are people using ICTs in Africa? For example, a farmer or a fisherman or any rural worker, how will they be using ICT?
As you know, in many African countries, illiteracy is still a problem. Basic literacy is still a problem, not to talk of ICT literacy. And we're seeking to improve that with our e-school initiative. People use ICT today even for purpose of telemedicine. You have e-health, where you can have a consulting physician sit in Africa, anywhere of the countries in Africa, and assess and share the expertise of another medical professional in another country, e-health, e-agriculture, e-security. But it's significant to note our commitment to e-governance. We're seeking to improve upon governance, making government more open and accountable through the e-initiative in terms of improving government-to-citizen communication and citizen-to-citizen communication. We're working on our e-government strategy now.